Welcome back. My name is Sheila Corinna, and we are on Volume 2, a Handbook for the New Paradigm, and we are on session number 9. If you are following along in the book with me, I'm on page 163. So, the honor and glory of this planet, its past history, and its future role as a nurturing home to evolving humanity hangs in the balance as its degradation continues unabated, as it and its inhabitants sicken from misuse and abuse through ignorance and arrogant, purposeful destruction of its resources and its supportive atmosphere. The mass consciousness becomes psychologically unstable. The extremes of behavior become more evident not only through reported bizarre incidents, but within each individual life experience. Addictions and antisocial behavior within all organized structures becomes more prevalent. The family structure that is experienced without the universal laws as the ideal format within in which to base its purpose and focus fails to provide the necessary education for children to evolve into mature and functioning adults. Instead of each generation spiraling upward into evolving knowledge, experience, and wisdom, humanity has remained stuck in a continuing circle of abuse, ignorance, and physical and spiritual poverty. Those who amass material wealth find themselves poor in spirit and thus continue to search for the fulfillment of the void within, that is, the ignorance of the existence within and the use of the laws it would provide. Once the recognition is made that this nebulous feeling of lack is indeed real and that it can be resolved, the search for the answer to the puzzle comes about naturally. However, the search for a teacher of this wisdom goes unrewarded. Those that are found teach. Those that are found teach doctrines that continue the ignorance. I kind of feel like that's been my observation, not in all cases purposefully, just happens to be. The true teachings that are recorded in ancient documents remain hidden, either yet to be discovered or have been found and deliberately withheld from the dissemination to the people or destroyed. Little has changed over the centuries for those who would continue to keep the people in spiritual ignorance and poverty. Thus, the time is now ripe for the call of the people for release from this incessant control and denigration of humanity's search of its rightful path of evolvement. The focus of creation in this portion of all that is has decreed that this must end. Mankind must stand forth in the truth of who and what he is and end this chapter in its history. There are many of us, I feel, know that we've been called to put an end to certain generational abuses that we've been made aware of within our own lines and lineages. And so it would only make sense that this would be on a global level as well, a universal level, if you will, as the metaphor is the same at every level. In the millenniums of experience, it has not happened through their own doing. He/she remains stuck in such stillness as whether the information contains references that are chauvinistic, quote, and fails to extract the truth, for such things are of no importance. Man and woman, meaning mankind with and without a womb, is one and the same. He is the same with or without the she or he. Each is one with the creative energy that focuses them into existence and holds them there in the energy of love without excuses or judgment. Just as the Creator has no greater love of one creature than another, all are held in the highest of esteem. All are then expected to do likewise in wisdom. The love of the Creator and of the energy of creation is not the superficial romantic love of your songs and stories, but one of absolute support. If it were not so, it would be withdrawn at the least excuse, and your experiences would be short indeed. A parent that fails to guide and reasonably and logically discipline a child lacks real love for that child. Few of the millions of children of this time on the planet are truly loved. They are tolerated, used, abused, and forced to grow physically, but not raised up in the knowledge and understanding of who and what they are, and what is expected of them in either the physical or spiritual realms of their life experience. At the bottom of this lies the indisputable fact that parents cannot provide what they do not themselves know. Most now refuse to pass on what was taught to them, for it has not led them to fulfillment. Thus, they send their children into adulthood with even less than they received. None of the above does more than delineate the problem and does not provide a solution. The religions of the world offer up their, quote, wise writings as the answer. But these have been so adulterated as to provide only more circuitous searching. Thus, it would appear that it is time that true guidance appear on the scene. The question then arises as to how this would or could be disseminated. Those in desperation that pursue the false religious doctrines are radical and fanatic in their defense and are no different than when the last great teachers walked among you. They are not less malleable in the belief that their priests and preachers are wise in their judgments and would again follow them into smothering any teacher or teachings that might be sent. How then could such enlightenment proceed? If indeed the real teachers called Jesus or Muhammad returned to walk and teach among their people, they would be no better received, as their true teachings would be unrecognizable because these were altered and adulterated almost immediately. Even if they were allowed to teach, would these, quote, new and different teachings be received any more than the last time? They were heard, but the people could not accept them and apply them to their daily life. And that is the proof of any pudding. If mankind, male and female, is to transcend this seemingly endless chasing of its tail through generations of suffering, then it must stop creating victims and being victims. It must grasp and understand that its purpose is the veneration, education, and development of the awareness of its connection to source. The tiny computer chip, the segment of creation itself that is their self awareness. The I am, that I am awareness, that is who and what each and every human being is, whether male or female, black, white, red, yellow, or brown, earthling, or alien. This awareness comes into, quote, beingness, and through recurring experience, quickly or slowly learns what it is taught, but not how to return from whence it came fulfilled. It is influenced totally by the parenting it receives throughout its numerous experiences, not only by others, but most importantly of all, by itself. It accepts or rejects its opportunities to harmonize with its source and to expand that, to extend that expansive energy into its choices of experience through attitudes and decisions. It is not a simplistic process, and thus cycles of experience are supplied over long periods to provide this process, to grasp the understanding that each is an individual extension of wholeness, likened to a cell within a body, in which all are individual yet part of a focused wholeness within a greater wholeness is an imperative. Just as within the human body, if cells attack and destroy the essential organs, the body cannot survive. Humanity must understand that it can no longer continue to destroy its own without destroying the wholeness that contains it. It must stop destroying the planet that nurtures it, as well as each other, repeating the same destructive patterns without transcending them is causing the sustaining planet, solar system, and galaxy disease, imbalance, and disharmony. The creator focus of this galaxy has the choice of helping this happen for all that are willing to accept this help, and putting all those who purposefully refuse in a holding space so that the cooperative are no longer held back by the uncooperative. It is as simple as that, and mankind is now facing this choice. I think we have been for quite some time, because on the very real largest of stages, the question is, who are you going to believe? There's so much misinformation, disinformation out there that trust of one's own inner voice is really the only way to go. teachers will not be put in a position to again become martyred victims for the purposes of those who are addicted to control and exploitation of their fellow humans. This will be a grassroots movement and will spread among the willing people who will grasp the understanding of who and what they are and change their consciousness accordingly. I feel like that's a true, all of this is a very true statement here. These will then spread the understanding among themselves and become their own teachers. That's happening now. The messages will be short and simple, and each will apply them in their own way or not. Each will assume responsibility and will spread the teaching to all that are willing to accept and allow those who choose otherwise to go their own way. The time of self-awareness and personal responsibility that will allow the transcendence of this hopeless situation into a new paradigm of experience is now, or the holding space is prepared and awaiting. It is opportunity or threat as your attitude determines. And that's the end of number 9. We'll be right back with number 10. If you're just joining, these are very short sessions that were channeled some time ago. And we are in the middle of volume 2 of Handbook for the New Paradigm. Volume 1 is in a playlist on its own, and volume 2 is in a playlist of its own. And when time comes for volume 3, it will be in a playlist of its own. See you in just a few moments.